Welcome back, and joining me for a look at the equity scene is Andrew Padoa from Sasfin Wealth. Thank you so much for your time, Andrew. Significant gains that we are seeing on the JSE today. Although it has been, I guess, a choppy trading throughout the weekend, we are seeing significant gains, particularly coming out of the resources sector. I was actually wondering if they've been influenced by the Anglo stable coming out with its updates, or if the Anglo stable was got some benefit from what is happening, I guess, overall in the resource complex today.
So Nati, firstly, thanks so much for having me on the show. I think it's a bit of both, to answer your question. I also saw a bit of news later this afternoon, whether it's true or not, that the US has asked 7 allies to consider putting sanctions on Russian palladium. So we've seen the price of palladium shoot through the roof today.
And Northam is up
16%.
15%.
Yeah, I think this is why you're seeing some of these platinum players up double digits today. I don't think it's purely, the Anglo Platts results, but they're certainly benefiting.
Yeah, it's really a great picture to see, especially for, I guess, the investors that have kind of been looking for a bottom. So we'll see what happens in the next few days or few weeks. Let's actually go into the Anglo stable there. What stood out for you? Because I did notice also particularly Amplats that share up at 13% on the day.
So I thought it was kind of mixed from Anglo Platts side of things. Their production dropped 9% due to safety stoppages at one of their spots, and then there was a mill breakdown at another one. So operational challenges kind of played a role for them in the last couple of months, but strong performance in the refining side helped boost sales. On the Kumba side, Kumba's production decreased 3%, but sales were up 2%. Shareholders of Kumba, you're getting a 12% dividend yield there. They're part of the Anglo stable. So, Big Daddy wants the cash. So Kumba's going to keep producing that solid dividend yield for plenty of time to come. Kumba's shares were over 600 Rand beginning of this year, and they're now at around 340. So, with them falling to 340, 12% dividend yield, it looks like risks look to the upside.
And just the parent company, especially considering the fact that BHP does have its eye on the company again.
Yeah. So if we look at the actual underlying performance of Anglo's, copper was down, as you mentioned, production down 13%. Iron ore, that was the only one that of the major players was up 2%.
Yeah.
Platinum group metals declining 10%, and then diamonds, like you said, production dropped 25%. So, the company is still looking to simplify its strategy, aiming to focus on those higher margin commodities like the copper and iron ore. Let's see how things play out the next couple of months.
Well, let's go into a counter that is exposed to iron ore, and that is Afrimat. They released their interim results today. A climb in revenue, of course, that did not translate to the bottom line. The share price is up, though, and I'm wondering what markets are holding on to here.
So Afrimat's had a trading statement about 2 weeks ago, so we knew where the earnings were kind of going to be. We saw the revenue was up a lot, but that was boosted by the Lafarge acquisition. Operating profit was down substantially, down 45%, primarily due to losses in the cement business and with reduced iron ore sales. The net debt to equity, it's gone effectively from almost 0 to now 45% due to the recent acquisitions. So they've got quite a lot of debt on the balance sheet. But management did comment on the importance of driving cash flow to pay off this debt quickly. But, they are expecting things to improve in the second half of the year, driven by better cement production and recovery in local iron ore sales. They've been a fantastic long-term performer on the JSE. Really done well. Great track record of these little acquisitions along the way. I was just looking at my screens just now. The JSE over the last decade has given you 10% per annum total return. Afrimat's done 18%. So, almost double what the JSE has done. So, fantastic long-term performer.
All right. We're talking about performers. Clicks being one of them. Group turnover increasing 9.2%. They talk about margin expansion, growth in market share. Headline earnings per share increasing over 14%. Is there nothing stopping Clicks right now?
It seems unlikely. Those results were stellar. And they're, just talking about Afrimat's performance, I think Clicks has done even better on a share price perspective. I had a look at that. I think they've done 21% per annum for the last decade. No, I think Clicks has been a phenomenal performer. what stood out for me, yes, results were great, sales were great, headline earnings were good. Their margins are at 9.2%. For a retailer, that's seriously impressive. If we look at, they've expanded their stores. They're close to 1,000 store networks now, 720 pharmacies. Their loyalty program, I don't have the data, but it might be the best and most successful loyalty program in South Africa. They got close to 12 million members.
Incredible.
So yeah, if not the best, it's up there. So yeah, another fantastic company with fantastic set of results today.
We'll talk about things that are up there. What is your stock pick for today?
My stock pick for today is Microsoft. So Microsoft's underperformed their peers over the last 3 months. There's been some negative sentiment towards Microsoft, concerns about gross margins, CapEx, capital expenditure, and the monetization of Gen AI. But I think these concerns are all transitory, and the share price weakness offers a great entry point into a really dominant tech company that's very well positioned in AI without some of the regulatory overhang that some of the other big tech names have to deal with.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and for your insights there on what has been moving investors' money today, Andrew. That was Andrew Padoa from Sasfin Wealth.